Hey Rocky fans, Rocky Balboa 101 here with my final Rocky movie review. We're going to be tackling my favorite of the entire series, the first Rocky movie, which came out in 1976, was written by Sylvester Stallone and directed by John Avildsen. Now, I don't know what else can be said about this movie. I mean, if you're watching my site, you've seen this movie. It's an excellent movie. I don't typically give movies 10s out of 10s. There's movies I really like. I'll give them like 9s or 9.5s, but this is a perfect movie in my opinion. 10 out of 10 for sure. There's not one element of this movie that I would change. Rocky, he's a loan shark, but he's got a heart. He feels bad for some of these people, and he knows his friend Paulie, who's a drunk, and they get in fights all the time, but they stay close. Paulie has a sister named Adrian. She's really shy. Rocky likes her. That's where the love story comes into this movie. Burgess Meredith plays Mickey, who ends up training Rocky, and you have Carl Weathers, that is Apollo Creed. He's who Rocky fights in the final fight of the movie. There's so much that's great about this movie, but I want to talk about some trivia. There's a lot of trivia for this movie. This movie had a very low budget, so Sylvester Stallone actually got his family members to be parts in the movie. For instance, his father was the man who rings the ring bell in this movie. As you saw in the beginning, you see him a couple other times. His brother Frank was a street corner singer in this and the second movie. And Stallone's first wife, Sasha, was the set photographer. So, they had to cut a lot of corners in this movie, but that's why it worked in my opinion, For instance, the ice skating rink scene was originally supposed to have like 200 extras. They're supposed to be full of people. Well, they didn't want to pay all those people. They didn't have the budget to do it, so they decided just to be those two. And I thought that worked out better than what would have happened if they had all the extras. Sylvester Stallone wrote this script in 3 days. He was a poor actor on the streets pretty much, and he sent this script to MGM, and they wanted to do it, but they didn't want Sly for the role. But Sly refused to sell his script. He said he wanted to play the part. And they ended up going with him, and obviously that's how Sylvester Stallone became such a big actor. Originally, in the original script, Mickey was kind of a racist, so that was changed. And also in the original script, Rocky throws the fight at the end, and the reason is because he decides that the professional boxing is not for him. So those two elements I'm glad they actually changed. I think what they ended up going with worked very well. The Steadicam. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's in a lot of... You ever wonder how in movies, when someone's running or doing something and the camera's moving with them, why it's so smooth? Well, nowadays, what they have is they have like a train track that they build next to the set, and they put like a cameraman on a chair connected to the railroad. He has a camera, that's how he moves smoothly. But back then, they didn't have that. The Steadicam was, it's erroneously considered that Rocky was the first movie to use it. It was kind of created for Rocky, that they say, but it was this thing that they hooked to this guy around his waist, and he actually ran next to Rocky during the training scenes, but the way he invented the camera stayed steady, so, a lot of people don't know that. Both Sly and Carl Weathers were injured during this movie, during the fight scene. Sylvester Stallone was inspired by a Muhammad Ali versus Chuck Wepner fight. That's how he kind of came up with the Rocky idea. In the training scene where Rocky runs through the Italian market, there's a piece of fruit thrown to Rocky and he catches it. That was improv. That was not set up. Somebody in the Italian market just decided to do that, and they went with it, and it stayed in the movie. When Rocky runs the steps the second time in the movie, originally they wanted him to carry Butkus up the stairs to show how strong Rocky had gotten. Well, I think they tried a couple takes of it, and Sylvester Stallone was like, well, this is just too hard. Like, I can't carry this big dog up the steps. So they scratched that idea. The budget for this movie was $1.1 million, which is very small, but it ended up making $117 million domestically and $225 million worldwide. So it was a box office smash hit. I mean, this movie made back its money and then some. It was the highest grossing film of 1976, and it won 3 Oscars, including Best Picture. Now, I also want to mention that Sylvester Stallone, Talia Shire, Burgess Meredith, and Burt Young were all nominated for Oscars because they all did phenomenal jobs. Sylvester Stallone, I mean, he was so good in this movie. Every scene he was in, I mean, everyone did a great job. Honorable mentions for Sly was the apartment scene with Mickey. Sly was awesome in that scene. The first time Rocky runs training, how he barely makes it up the steps, like he walked up the rest of the way and he was really tired. I mean, you could just tell that Rocky was thinking in his mind, who am I kidding? You know, I'm not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with Creed. And that also brings the going the distance speech that Rocky says to Adrian when he's in the apartment right before the fight. You know, he's like, you know, I'm not in the guy's league, but he's like, all I want to do is go the distance, and that's what he does. Talia Shire, she did fantastic too. I mean, every emotional scene she was in, it was great. I mean, she was perfect for the role. I mean, she played Shy to a T. That was awesome. Now, Burt Young, this was his movie, in my opinion. Of all of the 6 Rockies, this was his movie. He did excellent in this movie, you know, and, you know, being a drunk and not happy with his life and, you know, sending that out to everybody, you know, showing, you know, everyone like, my life stinks, and, you know, taking it out on everybody else, you know, that was great. Burgess Meredith, though, I mean, he is so good. The apartment scene where he goes and wants to train Rocky, that is like one of the best scenes in the entire series. Watch that scene again, you know, if you haven't seen Rocky 1 in a while. And Carl Weathers, you know, he didn't have a lot to do, but he did exactly what he needed to do. He played a cocky champion, and it worked out fine. I mean, obviously, Carl Weathers was in a bunch of other Rockies, so he must have, you know, been a good actor for them to continue using him. So, you know, what else can I say about this movie? It's so good. I don't see how anyone would not like this movie that's not even a boxing fan, because Sylvester Stallone already said that Rocky's not about boxing, it's about Adrian. That's the story. The movie's a love story. And at the end of the fight, when, you know, Rocky goes the distance and, you know, Adrian comes in the ring and I love you and where's your hat, that's just perfect. What a perfect ending to the series. I mean, to the movie. I mean, it was so good. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this movie except it's great. It's the best in the series in my opinion, and, you know, watch it again. You know, if you don't consider Rocky 1 very good, just sit down and watch it. Watch it as a drama. Yes, the fight scene at the end of the movie is probably the least entertaining of the whole series, but it's the most realistic. You know, if you watch boxing nowadays, there's not, you know, it's not like as entertaining as the Rocky movies. I'm not taking anything away from the entertainment factor. I love all the boxing scenes in all the Rocky movies, but Rocky 1, it's very realistic, but it's not very entertaining. But it doesn't matter, it's still a 10 out of 10. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching all my movie reviews of the Rocky series. If you haven't seen the other ones, please watch it, and stay tuned for more videos. Alright, we'll catch you later.